In a nutshell.
This is Al Weissman in a nutshell. Today we have the great good fortune of having the opportunity to spend some time with Michael Allman, a musician who's already got one album out, going to have another one out pretty shortly. And sir, I would ask you to tell our audience your name, the town in which you presently reside, and a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, my name's Michael Allman. I'm the oldest son of Gregg Allman. My band is the Michael Allman Band. I was born in Daytona Beach, Florida, and I currently live in Tampa because I found out that sunsets are better than sunrises. I don't see many 5 o'clocks and 6 o'clocks in the mornings, so I moved to the other coast on Tampa, and I love it over there. So much better music venue and stuff, music scene.
Okay, cool. Well, I understand, of course, that your dad is the great Gregg Allman, and I understand that your mom's maiden name was Mary Lynn Sutton. Is that correct?
That is correct. Out of Ormond Beach. She was. My grandfather was the president of Ormond Beach Bank, and my grandmother was the librarian in Ormond. They pretty much ran Ormond in the mid '60s.
Okay. Now, your dad's alive. Is your mom still alive?
Yes. She's battled cancer a bunch, but she is still doing a
Oh, did she?
job.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
She survived the
She's got
cancer.
the arthritis and she's still kicking.
Was she a musical
That's
person too?
She plays the piano and whatnot. Mostly she was just a good mom.
Okay, that's good.
That's nice.
That's the good thing. I read in an interview that you gave to the Miami New Times that when asked what you do in the band, you replied, "Lead singer, I hit a few chords on the piano and touch a guitar now and then when I'm writing songs, but I don't really play any instruments."
I do not.
But I also read that you wrote a book of acoustic guitar pieces. Is that true?
That is not.
It's not true.
No, sir.
Okay.
I wrote no book.
Well, did you write acoustic pieces?
No, I don't play. I don't.
Okay.
That's probably Devin. That's the hardest working Allman.
Okay.
That'd be Devin Allman probably.
Did you take any instrument lessons when you were a kid?
Yeah.
And so you never took instrument.
Yeah, we had it. My mom was raising me alone. We struggled hard. I didn't even get to go to the dentist.
All right.
Life was hard.
Well, sometimes
being
in
alone.
school, they offer these things. Did you take any singing lessons at any time in your life? Any time in your life?
Yeah, I mean, everybody gives you pointers all along the way, but no, I've had no lessons whatsoever, and I don't.
All right. Well, I want you to know that I love your bluesy voice.
Thank you.
Very, very excellent.
Yeah, Jack Daniels and Marlboro taught me a lot.
Yeah, I was going to ask do you think that your smoking interferes with your singing, or do you think that it possibly benefits your singing?
I don't know. I wish I could say, well, I've never smoked, and I don't know. But I know that when I tried it early on in my life, I couldn't. I sang I sang along with Journey and Steve, Styx and things, and high pitched voices and Night Ranger, and I was vastly in love with the '80s music, and that was the voice I could hit when I was younger, 20. And when I tried to start a band, I couldn't do it because that voice didn't fit the style in which I needed to do or wanted to do. So it didn't make any sense. So I gave up and started framing houses and got married and had children and done all kind of weird stuff.
I understand your mom became ill when you were 17 years of age, and you went to live with your dad.
Yeah, I did. That was the first time I lived with him, 17. First time for a lot of stuff, actually.
Well, had you spent very much time with him at all before you were 17?
Not 1 minute.
And between the death of your stepdad and going to live with your dad, that must have been two very traumatic times of your life.
Yeah, it was. Actually, the stepfather died when I was 8 years old. Kelly, I got a sister. My mom and him had that actually changed my world in a ridiculous way. He was a Learjet pilot, and he was adopting me. My name was Michael Green, or was about to be Michael Green, and I went on, and I was going to be a pilot and everything, and then all of a sudden he died, and me and my little sister are sitting there crying because our daddy just died, and my mom chose that particular moment to say, well, you know what, son, your daddy didn't die.
Oh my goodness.
So it was, it was from that moment on. I don't really know I don't know what I'd have done. I probably would have loved flying.
Okay.
But it is what it is. So from then on, I found out I was someone else, and that was.
So now, where was your dad living at that time when you were 17? You went to
I
live
have
with him?
no clue.
You went to live with him though.
Oh, we went. Yeah. Oh, at 17. I'm sorry. I was still with the crash. Anna Maria Island, Bradenton. We lived in right off Bradenton in Florida, West Coast. He lived on Anna Maria Island. We had a nice house right there on the Gulf. He did.
Had he started living with the Boyds yet at that time?
I don't know.
Okay.
There was no one there with me and my daddy.
Because your dad had just broken up with Cher in 1978.
Yeah, I don't know much about that either.
From what I've read, he had a rough time for the 5 years after that until you came to live with him.
I have no comment. I don't know nothing about it. I talked to her on the phone one time. That's all I know about her. And she got a mouth like a sailor and an ass like a hooker. So I'm good.
In his book, I didn't read the whole book, My Cross to Bear, but I did read some excerpts. And he states that during the 80s...
Page 299 and 300. That's me.
During the 80s, his alcohol abuse was at one of its worst points.
Yeah, it probably was. He's, did you notice that? Did that affect you?
I
did. Well, the only thing that really affected me along his career was, as far as what not to do, was not to do any drugs and be careful with the tattoo people. Not to do any heavy drugs that involve needles or anything. I've never done that. And the tattoo people have to be very careful.
I see.
There's an insane amount of protection against blood transfers.
Sure.
Other than that, no, I stay out of that. And I don't, what he chose to do and what I can see why. It didn't really affect me much, no.
Okay. So somewhere along the line, you met a gal from Michigan.
Yeah, that's Donna. That's the mother of my children. I had 2 boys with her.
Did you meet her in Michigan or something?
No, she came down to Florida on vacation and never left.
Really? Oh, so you guys lived in Florida when you were married?
Yeah. She came down on vacation and stayed there.
From what I read, that was a happy time in your life.
It was great. I was 20 years old, didn't have a care in the world.
Oh, that's
Actually,
cool.
It was right after I lived with my father. I can't keep this shit straight, but it's, right along that same time frame.
Okay.
It was nice, but I came back from my father's, and then he came over to the house, and she met him, and we had, a good friendship for a moment, and then a couple of different times we lived together and all that. It was nice. I got 2 boys. They live in Michigan now.
That's nice.
Brandon Michael and Christopher Lenoir.
Oh.
So now, since the end of your marriage, that's when you really reconnected with your music, no?
Yeah, well, no, I tried again. Had a second marriage.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, that was actually the first time I connected with the music. It was right after the first marriage. I went in and tried it then, but that was still like I said, the Steve Perry type voice and the not being able to sound with the blues sound. It didn't fit yet.
Okay.
So I quit. This doesn't make any sense.
I was wondering why that happened.
Yeah, it didn't. I mean, songs like Jack and Diane were the only things I could really pop out. It didn't do any good, and I thought, well, John Cougar got that covered, so
Yeah.
I don't know how to write like that.
So then there was a second marriage.
It was a second marriage, and we, I lived in North Georgia with her for a long time. It was a good marriage. We had a good, I worked on my own business the whole time. That's when I was a carpenter and owned a handyman business, and I used to have calluses. I don't anymore. Pretty proud of that. I always said one day I'd sit and have to cut them off. I'd have swing framing hammer for years.
Oh, wow.
And then decided, wait a minute. I've had enough of this. Going back into music, so I started the album. Anyway, I guess you got notes.
Well, when did you when did you and your second wife go your separate ways? If you recall.
I suck at dates. I can't keep track of the dates. I'm still 23 in my head.
Well, your album came out, I believe it was 2008?
Yeah, it was. It came out. That came in 9, but it took me 3 years to get the whole album out. So it was 2007 or somewhere, or right on end of 2006, 2007. We split up. That was, she liked my best friend a little bit more than I did.
Common tale.
It's all fine and good,
So, and I read in an interview from 2012 where you're quoted as having answered the question, how long have you been doing music professionally? And you said, probably about the last 6 years. I've been playing music all my life, though. My album came out 4 years ago, and I've been busy ever since. So that would put your album about.
To answer that question at this point would be the last 3 years. Life got a whole lot different and better. About 3 years ago when I met Mr. Mark Shane sitting right over there with the acoustic guitar that we're gonna play a song or two. But Mark changed my life a lot. We work and we have a good time now. We've been at this for 3 years, gone through hell and high water. I'd write that song, but it's taken.
Okay.
But yeah.
So it was, would you say that you reconnected with your music because your second marriage came to an end, or your second marriage came to an end because you were reconnecting with your music? Or?
No, it was definitely, you know, well, the cancer, I had cancer that was right up smack up in the middle of all that, and that made a whole lot of changes in my head. And when I realized that, and as I was looking, I realized, wait a minute, the marriage isn't all that great. I mean, she's a wonderful girl. She's been a friend of mine, and I'm real proud of her now. Her life's changed a bit later. It took her a little bit longer than me, but her life's all good now, you know, and I don't have any, none of my exes do I have any ill words about. Damn, sorry, I lost my
That's
train
okay.
of thought
You know,
there. What the
I
hell
had
was it?
two friends. I had one cousin of mine and a very, very dear friend of mine, and they had the same kind of cancer that you had.
Oh, yeah, testicle cancer.
One died, and one was able to survive.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, the main thing was that I did a transition, and you know, and I'm quite the alpha male, but during you know, when you lose a testicle, when you lose cancer, if you have anything that just really traumatizes your body, you're not the same anymore. For a minute anyway, until you realize, okay, well, wait a minute, I am still the same. That was just a dumb moment. But during that moment, I was kind of, I guess, you know, I'll pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. A little wimpy at the time. So it caught, that was the strain, and we were having trouble. So with the testicle cancer and the trauma to, you know, the brain and all, it was snap. It was just done. So you know, when and we went our own separate ways, I've sat down. And the weird part is I was looking through what little stuff I had left, because, you know, she packed up to get whatever. And I found the manager, my band manager, Tom Skinner's, I found my old address book from 10 years ago. I had no idea how it could have still been in the household. And I flipped through it, and Tom Skinner was, the last time I tried, he's my best friend for 30 years. And the last time I had tried music, he was there to try and help me through it, and he was the one giving me the advice, to letting me know, man, we got to figure out how to get your voice to fit this, or we have to make you put you in a boy band or something. I don't know. But it rang. He answered it, and we hadn't spoke in 4 or 5 years. And I said, okay, that's it. Let's go. He said, okay, what do you want to do? I said, let's start with an album. Hard Labor Creek came out. I wrote some of it. I had been writing it for years. It was all, you know, it was wonderful. So from there, you know, from that moment on, it wasn't her. No, to answer the question, no, it wasn't her. It wasn't me. It wasn't this. It wasn't that. It was all of it.
Okay.
All of a sudden, it was like, Calgon, take me away.
I hadn't heard that one for a long time. How about your sons now? Are they musical?
They're not. They're thinking about it. They both are actually. You know, Christopher can play trumpet. He was in high school, played the trumpet all the way up. Brandon is just more like me. Technically, if you took my good side and my bad side and split me in half, you'd have my sons. You know, Christopher's the hard. He's got to work the hardest, because he's just. And he could play the trombone. He actually had music in him, and I think that the lack of the music now is what's got him a little, you know, his brain needs to be playing music, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
And Brandon's just a smart guy. He's just my best son. You know, he's got a great job, brand new trucks, brand new house, brand new everything. You know, he's just the ultimate, if you're gonna have to be. And they don't really, so far, well, they haven't been proud of Daddy until now. You know what I mean? Like, my son's so proud of me now. He's got, you know, he tattooed Allman all across the back of his chest, and I was born as Michael. I mean, I was born in order to save me life. I was born as Michael Hendrick, and I had to change my, you know, and my father signed all the paperwork and everything, and we changed that. But I had already had them, so they were technically born under my first name. So, but. And he never really cared to change it. It didn't matter. He was Brandon Hendrick. He grew up that way. He didn't care one way or the other. But now that I'm doing really, really well, that's a whole nother story. And that makes me a proud daddy. When he got that Allman tattoo, because he had his initials, awesome. You know, with his Hendrick name. It's still, you know, it's still us. It don't make no difference. But when he got that big old Allman tattooed across his back, it was because he was proud of his daddy, not his grandpa.
Cool. Very cool. That's excellent.
Cool. Yeah, that was a milestone moment for me and my son, because I don't have much of the, you know, me and my father, he's not a father per se. He doesn't, you know, doesn't really, I don't hold that against him in any way, shape, or form. He's doing a lot now. You know, he's Dwayne's daughter's hanging out with him, and that's really kick-ass, because he's having trouble doing that. She's being wonderful.
Well, that's good.
Other than that, I don't know a whole lot. I think I pretty well hit that question.
Okay, all right. Now, getting back to your sons, in other words, it doesn't look like they're going to be joining your band soon.
No. Well, I mean, no. They're young.
Well, you never know, huh?
But you never know. And it ain't out of the question. If he walked up and said, yeah, hey, I can do this, and
Cool.
he says, yeah, hell yeah, we'll go for it.
Now, you've got several siblings, most of whom are musically involved.
As they come along, they are. Yes.
Dwayne Allman is a pretty accomplished vocalist, guitarist, keyboard player, songwriter in his own band. You guys ever get together?
Wait, Devin. You said
Devin.
Dwayne. You said
I'm
Dwayne,
sorry.
sir. That's
Devin.
fine. Just to clarify for the audience,
That's
you mean
Devin.
Devin. Yeah,
Right.
Devin. I call Devin the hardest working Allman. He has worked and worked and worked and not relied very much on any of the Allman music. He'll do one or two of his shows every so often and whatnot. Whereas I, on the other hand, do half my shows Allman music. But that's what I want to do. And he's been at it. He's got 4 or 5 albums out. He's done countless things. Devin is just awesome.
Well, that's cool. What about Elijah Blue Allman?
I don't know much about him.
Your
I
dad's son.
met him.
He's a singer and guitarist with Deadsy, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if he's. That's his band. So I mean, it's up and down. But I mean, I can. It's. I have. Gregg Allman's my father, and I have a semi-grounded mother. I could not imagine having Gregg Allman and Cher. That would be tough.
I can understand that.
That's right. So
I think anybody in our audience could understand
I met him
that.
once, and I talked to him, and he seems. But we were young. I was in California, and me, Devin, and him were all sitting in one spot. And I'd suggested, hey, why don't we do like an Allman Brothers second generation thing?
Cool.
And Elijah says, yeah, man, that'll be great. Let's do that. We'll have it up, and everybody will come in. They'll start thinking that we're going to play that stuff, and we'll just bust into some heavy metal. Well, that was the last time I ever spoke to him. Not because I don't want to, but we just really ever crossed paths. But yeah. But I mean, if you listen to Deadsy, and he's holding his own great. I mean, that's his style. Our styles are different.
Sure.
Just heavily different.
How would you describe your style?
Allman-ish.
Kind of southern bluesy rock.
What time are we getting?
Yeah, I was just going to say, we want to get the song in, Al.
It is 9:42.
Yeah,
It's only been 10, 12
Okay,
minutes.
but he's got to
The
get the song
downbeat
in.
is
We're
at
almost
10
at the
o'clock.
end of the interview, and then I figured that.
All right, downbeats at 10 o'clock.
All right. And there's the
I hate it when that happens. The sign language now.
Okay, here we go. Then there's Delilah Allman. She's a nurse. Yeah, she's an hour. And you ever get together with her at all?
Delilah.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, when I lived, the second time I lived at my dad's house, she was there. That's the sibling I have the most connection with, but I haven't spoke to her in a long time.
Ah, okay. And then last but not least is Layla Allman. She's a musician. She's a vocalist and keyboardist. And Picture Me Broken, I think.
Yeah. I held her. I believe they've changed the name, and I apologize.
Four
sister.
Lane.
Yeah, I believe they've changed. I'm not.
That's the
I held
other
her
one.
when she was 1. When her mom came by the house. The time I was living there, the island was there, and I held her when she was 1. We've made just a momentary connection. Other than that, we're not a family-oriented bunch of people.
Okay.
We didn't have family to look at, so we don't really have much of a basis.
So that's pronounced Lila, not Layla?
Layla. Yeah, Layla.
Layla. Okay.
Yeah, Layla.
And you have one step sibling?
I probably have 50. It's great.
Chaz.
Come on. Now. I'm not.
We don't talk about Chaz.
Okay.
I got nothing to do with my family.
Okay. And who are the Marshall Brothers?
Oh, there's some buddies of mine up in Cocoa Beach. One of the early bands I worked with.
Okay, so these are not the same guys you're traveling with.
Oh no.
Okay.
No, this is my band now. I'm with my band. This is Michael Allman band now.
All right. Now, there's another album coming up?
There is an album. I have a solo album out, Michael Allman's Hard Labor Creek, and then the Michael Allman band is now currently working on the first album.
That's great. When do you expect it?
Any minute. And if you'd like a song, we're gonna show you a song from it right now.
That'd be great.
Right. Woo.
Please.
Is it time for that?
It's
That's
time
right.
for that.
finally been paid. What I thought would kill me has left me alive. Oh, could it mean a new day has arrived? To live for another, one can only survive. We must live for ourselves to feel alive. And all of the trouble I'm leaving behind, because for me a new day has arrived. And we gotta get through our life, 'cause there's happiness to find. And we gotta get through our life, 'cause the darkness gets mixed up sometimes. All of this lesson are yesterday's true. Something to have, something to do. You got to stay focused, keeping your dreams in sight. And then for you, a new day will arrive. A new day has arrived. A brand new day has arrived. A new day has arrived. A brand new day has arrived. A new day has arrived. A brand new day has arrived. It's a brand new day.
Nice.
All right, we're good, folks. Hit that button for me on the center.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Love it, man. Okay, just a few more questions and we're done.
I gotta haul ass, brother. Hurry.
Okay. Do you are you available if somebody wanted to hire your services?
Yeah, Michael
For a
Allman,
corporate
.com.
event, a circumcision, a wedding, anything along those lines?
I have friends that take